What's up, everyone? Thank you again for joining Cyber and Tech with Dre. If you are new to the channel, just remember to subscribe. And if you like my content, just hit the like button and leave a comment to let me know what you think. So it can help with the algorithm, and I'll also know what you guys would like to see. So last week, I attended the Cybersecurity Summit in Manhattan, and I did this to improve on my networking skills. And as a cybersecurity professional, networking is very important. So we're going to talk about some of the highlights of the conference and what was remarkable to me. So there were many topics that were discussed during the presentations, and one that stood out the most was ransomware. Everyone said a resounding no when they asked whether you should pay or not pay the ransomware. However, when he brought about a certain scenario, the answer slowly started to change. He gave a scenario where you had a hospital and the data that was encrypted was data that was the lives of thousands of patients for that hospital. And everyone sat down and considered it a lot, and to the extent that it was pretty much silence in the conference center. And this was very revealing because you would definitely have to consider the situation. Um, the government or the authorities tell you that you should not pay ransomware. But looking at this scenario, one can see why an organization might pay the ransom, because the impact that it would have on the organization might very well be life-threatening. So that was something that stood out a lot, because in the world of you always consider people, processes, and technology. However, the safety and the lives of human beings are always number one priority. During the presentation, they also spoke about what one can do to prevent a situation where your data is encrypted by a threat actor. And some of these include the regular best practices such as least privileges, defense in depth, cybersecurity awareness, of course, which is very important. And one of the most important ones that could help with this kind of attack would be to have regular backups, least privilege. And once you can employ some of these best practices, then you will have a situation where it is least likely to affect your organization. Even if your data is encrypted, you would have backups in place to make sure that your business can continue. Many of the presenters, or most of the presenters, were representing different vendors, and I must point out that the quality of the research and the statistics that they brought in was quite impressive. They were able to give us great insight as to what's going on in the threat landscape, and in terms of the different ways that the threat actors get into the environment. They were on point when it came to those statistics. And what was quite interesting is that over the years, we're noticing that the exploits and all of the different avenues that the threat actors use to get into the system are all the same. So clearly, there needs to be more cybersecurity awareness for the people that are working in these environments. And also, change needs to happen with the types of technologies or the controls that are used to mitigate these risks. Another thing that was pointed out is that it is best for you to always assume that there's a breach in your environment and operate as such. That way, you will always have things in place or controls in place to minimize the impact that it might have on your organization. In this particular slide, you see where 41% or the majority of the ways that threat actors get into the environment is through vulnerabilities in internet facing devices. And this is an easy fix. However, it seems to be the main way that threat actors are getting into the different environments. So this needs obviously some more work on cybersecurity awareness, making it important for users and also the technical people to take security seriously whenever they're carrying out their duties and whenever they're um, doing their activities within the environment. It's also obvious that security awareness comes in with great importance because, as you can see from the research that they did, it came out that 38% was from malicious emails, which does require some amount of human interaction in order to carry out this kind of attack successfully. Someone has to click on that link. And we also have to bear in mind that instead of finding ways to blame one particular individual, it's best to have an approach to find out what lessons were learned from the incident and just find ways to make sure that it does not occur again. Another concept that was particularly important was that of leveraging automation in order to operate more efficiently in the cybersecurity space. This was discussed, and some of the reasons why resistance was seen in some of the organizations. And this is an example of one of the lists that the presenters had. And they spoke about the traditional fear of the unknown, in terms of the cloud and the new developments and the lack of flexibility, less to no control over access to the environment, complex models, and so on. Having complex models is something that will definitely make it harder to secure your network because there are so many other considerations that you might miss one or more vulnerabilities. One of the other points was, the different ways to reach the same result, not necessarily following like a set design pattern. And the more complex and the more variations you have towards the same end will have more attack surfaces for the threat actor to take advantage of or to exploit. So as I mentioned earlier, most of the presenters were representatives from the different vendors, machine learning and also artificial intelligence. And this was very interesting because it was something that was consistent with the trends that are happening now. And you could see where they would be definitely replacing what now exists in the traditional SIM or the traditional event management platforms. I think the competition is going to be ramped up now because so many of these different vendors are using the AI and also machine learning to enhance the ability of cybersecurity professionals or organizations to capture the relevant events, and also machine learning and AI is able to contextualize the different events, and so that the workload will be reduced, and it will definitely help in defending your environment. So I'm very excited about what the future holds when it comes to these technologies that I'm seeing. Many concepts were discussed and many products were talked about during this event, but I could not end this video without talking about the networking segment. This was very fulfilling as I met a lot of interesting people, people who had great stories, people who are just starting out in the industry, a lot of people like myself, and also, for the most part, vendors that are trying to get their products sold. Now, this is my first experience going to a cybersecurity event, and my thoughts on it is that this is very good, and it's something that I think definitely will help you in your journey to transition into cybersecurity. These events play a great role in helping you to become a better professional, and it's so much that you can learn and so much that you can also impart on other people who may need some kind of guidance. And also the networking aspect, you get to meet new people and you can find out new things and what's going on, what's trending in the cybersecurity space. So that's it for me regarding the cybersecurity event that I attended last week, and I look forward to bringing you more content. Thank you again. Remember to drop a comment in the comment box. Hit that like button if you think this video was useful to you in any way at all. And if you haven't subscribed, just remember to hit that button. Thank you for watching.